When I was about 12 years old, I wanted a German Shepherd dog so bad. I remember begging Dad for one. This all began with Walt Hamill, the owner of the service station on the edge of town, St. Ignatius, where we always gassed up our vehicles. Back then, we were called service stations because they serviced your vehicle when you pulled up in for gas. They washed and wiped your windshield, checked your oil, etc., while the vehicle was being filled from the pump. They also fixed or checked the air in your tires and did engine repairs. Inside the service station was an old pop machine that I had always had my dad get me an RC Cola from for a dime. There was a few candy bars by the cash register for a nickel each, and a cigarette machine where you could get a pack of Marlboro, Salem, or Camel cigarettes for a quarter. In the shop or garage part of the service station were rows of rubber-smelling new tires and cans of engine oil. In the center of the floor was a large hydraulic cylinder lift that you would drive your car up to when it needed to be hoisted up for tire or engine oil changing. At night, Walt always locked his German Shepherd dog inside it to guard the place because he had a lot of trouble with local tribal members breaking in to get anything. St. Ignatius is located on the Flathead Indian Reservation. That mostly stopped when he got his German Shepherd dog and trained it to guard his place. His dog was beautiful, gray and black, and boy, was he mean. I wanted one just like this that I could train to watch our place, even be my personal bodyguard. And then here is a very typical of Walt Hamill's Enco service station. Here's a little drawing. Dad finally agreed to let me have one, and we began searching for someone that had a litter that we could choose from. After a few weeks, a local person who is always raising German Shepherds and selling the pups had a litter. I picked out one. We took him home, and I gave him the name Lad. Lad was black and tan, had the tall German Shepherd ears, and was very smart. He grew fast and was always by my side. He seemed so easy to train. For fun, we would crawl together on our stomachs out in the field where the yearling calves were, slowly approaching the unsuspecting cattle until we got about 10 yards or so away from them. Lad knew what was next and could hardly contain himself. He would look over at me, all nervous and anxious, waiting for me to give the signal to attack. Then he launched like a bullet, grabbing the back leg of a calf, trying to wrestle it down. I then ran up and grabbed him, pulling him away, and gave him pats and hugs and told him how awesome he was. He simply loved it. However, one day my dad saw the whole thing and was quite disturbed by it all. Needless to say, that fun was over. However, in continuing my training for him to be my bodyguard, I dressed my brother John up in heavy, thick clothes from the head to foot. On command, Lad attacked him and pulled him down by his heavy coat without hurting him. Within a few weeks, I demonstrated this to some of my friends. From that time on, they were always a little nervous when they were playing basketball or doing something together with Lad napping nearby with one eye always open. In the winter, I put Lad's harness collar on and tied it to the sled so he could pull me on the snow-packed roads, often going into town and back. In the summer of my 16th year, while in the middle of hay season, Dad had to go to Ronan one day to get baler twine because they were out of twine at the farmer's co-op in town. Lad often hopped in the back of the pickup when he heard it start. Dad drove to Ronan, picked up the twine, and then drove off without checking on Lad. When he got home, he realized that Lad had hopped out and he had left him in Ronan. We went back looking for him, but to no avail. I hoped and hoped that he would find his way home. Ronan is 27 miles north of St. Ignatius. In those days on the farm, people didn't put collars on their dogs. So if he strayed to someone's place, they would have no idea who he belonged to. It hurt so bad because I had always wondered if he felt abandoned by me even. I never really got over him and thus never wanted or had any interest in having another dog. That is why I refused, but then gave in when Darling wanted one for Mom's standard for company. I love dogs. They are one of Heavenly Father's special animal creations. I will have Lad in the eternities along with a couple of my horses. Here's a picture of Lad pulling me on my sled.